I've been thinking about this like a splinter in the soul. You know, when I became a person, if you would, rather woke up, I feel as though I was around right at the age I was being removed from my home. This is an important time, and this is just, I don't know. This is the splinter in my soul that hurts right now, and I worked on this relentlessly. So let me begin here. I feel as though when I was removed and then hospitalized, it kind of created this division in me that I am supposed to be now like a normal kid, and there's supposed to be this normal part about me, and people see me as this child despite, you know, honestly not treating me like that outside of this, and the places I've been seem to almost take a physical presence on like how I see myself. It's less and less, you know, I'm a girl in the world, and more of my experiences building upon me, how many people I've met in hospitals and how they don't get cared about outside of those hospitals, and how my life seems to revolve around this idea of being normal outside of who people treat me as, and ultimately convincing them I'm someone I'm not. And I really focused on the backgrounds to display where I was in hospitals and other places that would start to mess with me when I would walk into school. Because, you know, these places, these things are still very much fresh in my mind and very much a part of who I am, and a culminative, like, experience of things that I'm learning and feeling. But they don't get talked about. They're just really on me, within me, there. And then I'm in school, you know, I still face these experiences, I still face this life, and now I just get this new school. And I wrote the one word, I think, that the person that I was a lot more than I ever expected, and that's intentional. Because when this person was, you know, with the main person in the peanut gallery, you know, who I am supposed to be, I think they started to slowly realize that the concept of who I am and the name I'm being called is more or less just something that owns me. And I don't really know who I am outside of that, as I'm beginning to search for a way to be able to blend into this high school. And I don't have much of a plan, but I do know that there are other people within me. I know, and I just kind of assume it is fake, because really, what else can I do other than move forward within my day? I mean, I just tell myself it's not real so I can honestly see another day. There's really no point, and I don't ask myself why I'm trying to help these people that I'm seeing, you know, be argued with, be pestered, and be honestly emotionally abused. I didn't want to see that anymore, but at the same time, I had to act as if, you know, this wasn't real in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like this is a bit personally motivated by Eden, because I can just feel the amount of like being backed into a corner in what is supposed to now be your own home. And I feel as though I'm going through this kind of like double life. And this is the first time where I really feel like that's happening. And it's because I'm actively like recognizing I have people within me. I have people that I care about, and I know them, and it's even if it's fake, even if it's only me, like, that matters to me, and I don't know why. But on the outside, I have these people that want me to be now their kid, and are just like, oh, everything's fine, everything's normal, and has been since ever. And I realistically don't get a single second to like talk about what's happened to me, or like try to put it into words, like what I'm trying to protect. And ultimately, I'm just seeing that the people on the outside are not safe for me to be able to share my thoughts and opinions with, and ultimately are just going to make more irresponsible decisions. So I come up with a plan to just get me through the last 4 years until I'm an adult. But I think, admittedly, how much of the word I can use isn't exactly true to how I'm using it. But come by the time my younger sibling is about to be born, I've changed up a lot. my mannerisms mirror them. I talk more like them. I like the things that they like, and I try to act like them in any way, shape, or form possible, because I see it as the only way to be able to blend in or fit in any sort of way. I don't want them to see who I am at all, once again. And with this, there's a person that very specifically predominates those years, and this is Ellis. Ellis is a person who is not aware that they have more people on them than them on the inside, but also just don't like the people that they're with normally, so they're not exactly like prone to giving away all of their thoughts. And I think this is a very defensive type of existence, because as much as it's a passive existence, it's like still just kind of like, stay out of my business. I really don't enjoy how you've treated me, so you're not going to be able to be let in. But the irony of this is that as, you know, I start to try to fit in, and I begin to have these moments where I just begin to feel very out of character, like the one I'm currently drawing, where I'm waiting for my sibling to be born, and one of my relatives just asked me a question that honestly is so, like, if your mom said she's sorry, would you forgive her? And I remember I just looked at them like they were stupid. And I remember I could not ever, like, deny it. I just genuinely was a different person and more mature. And I sat there, I looked at her, and I went, well, she really should have thought that before she beat me. And it was almost out of rage, because, yeah, like, what an idiotic thing to bring up in an art museum. But yeah, if you feel it's okay now, let's have this conversation now. Because if you want to say some dumbass shit, I'll say it even louder. I just really, like, and this was a moment where I realized my identity is growing a bit beyond what I can control. And you notice that there was a sketch of quote-unquote Ellis. And this is Invictus, an alter that has existed before Ellis. And so as these things start to take root, as Invictus tries to help Ellis deal with, you know, the outside things, my sibling is born. And it's around a year-ish, I believe, from, I don't even know what time it is, but all that's running through my head when I'm seeing this baby is like, oh my god, where are you gonna sleep? Oh my god, how are we gonna do this? Oh my god, nobody's prepared for you. No one. And so, as I've denied who I am to myself, I've forgotten. It's a part of, you know, my brain's plan. And it leaves Ellis and my younger sibling just there. But as the days go by, Ellis quickly begins to realize that this isn't working, that something isn't working. And it's every time my sibling calls out to me. Something just doesn't add up, and my reaction keeps changing. And by the time that I'm in a good enough space to be able to help either of us, I'm an adult. This is my sibling, and I'm not able to, like, genuinely provide monetarily or in terms of physical space. And I'm also not doing well myself. And so the year comes to 2023, and it's been around 6 years since I originally said, okay, let's just try to survive this. And I have this feeling, and I can't shake it, and I look at the screen door. I'm supposed to be leaving for work, and I tell my partner that I'm gonna go check on my younger sibling, and then I'll be right back. As I head through, my stomach, it's in a knot. And I walk by all the rooms until I get to my younger siblings. And I'm like, it's a little quiet in there. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And this is where I realized that I've failed. That, you know, I wanted to protect my younger sibling. I wanted to be able to give them not only a good childhood, but like a great one where you don't get taught the same fear that your parents do, and that ultimately you go into life knowing you're loved, because that is the most important thing you could ever know. And I just think I realized I failed, because I hadn't been watching close enough. Who had I really been watching out for in the first place? Me. And I choose to depict myself as I physically was in this moment, Because the irony here to me is that even if I drew myself just as I physically present instead of like how I see myself internally, there is no difference in this moment. I, if anything, feel like I was more honest with how I actually am and my masking self in this moment. As I said, go. Go now while I'm here. It's okay, just go. And I don't have an answer, but I know that, my sibling now knows. And I know firsthand how cruel our parents can be. And I wait. And as I wait, I just feel hollow. And I sit there and I think to myself and realize that what could I do? I'm not going to be able to bring this child with me. I'm not going to be able to help this person that has helped me see the reason why I want to get through this life so much. What does matter to me right now more than the person I'm looking at? And as he looks at me, I know that my younger sibling wants an answer. Just for once, that same face that looked at me so many years ago in the mirror now sits here and asks for an answer. And this is the only one I can give. I don't feel responsible, and I don't feel like a hero. I feel like there's a splinter in my soul that I at least need to explain. Is the right answer that you should walk away when people hurt you? Because in the end, I was just trying to protect myself. But I realized how much of a piece of shit